Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Ultimate General Civil War, and today we are fighting the Battle of Mule. And I have to be honest, this battle is going to be an absolute bloodbath, but more to that later. We are going to bring our first and second corps, and we were actually able to give out the Palmetto M1842 to Ferrero, Barry and Field. The rest of our units are armed with the Springfield M1842, with the exception of our reboard farmers and our farmers. Our first corps is going to bring 3 batteries of 6-pounder field guns, 1 battery of 12-pounder howitzers and 4 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances. Our second corps is built up in more or less the same way. They are also going to bring 2 batteries of 6-pounder field guns, they are going to bring 2 batteries of 12-pounder howitzers and also 4 batteries of 10-pounder ordnances. We're not going to bring any sniper support or cavalry support for this battle, because we are going to fight a heavily entrenched enemy, and therefore I believe manpower is the way to go. As you can see, we have used up all of the farmers and reboard farmers, as well as all of the Springfields that we had lying around. And to make sure that none of our Springfields are getting used up by other units, I've given out the Harper's Ferry M1855 to every other brigade that we field. Our last career point was invested into logistics, bringing us up to 7 points and 35% additional ammunition. And as you can see, the Confederates still have an army of roughly 52 to 57,000 soldiers. And they're going to bring around 47,700 soldiers and 198 guns to the battlefield. Therefore, I believe that this battle could make or break our campaign. We are going to take heavy casualties trying to break their defenses, but if we are able to break through and we are able to inflict heavy casualties, the Confederates should not be able to reinforce that and therefore should be heavily understrength for the next major battle. But if we are unable to achieve that goal, we might have exhausted all of our reinforcements and we still have to face a formidable enemy. But to make sure that this does not happen, we are going to bring over 65,800 soldiers and 320 guns. General, this rebel position appears to be the weakest in their line. It is a salient in their formation. Jutting out in horseshoe shape. We have to assault this exposed position and seize the area. If we succeed, we could split the Confederate lines in 2 and cripple their defenses. And the battle immediately begins and our soldiers have been ordered forward. We are going to position our soldiers over here and I'm going to try to get artillery closer to the enemy, so that we are hopefully able to drive away 1 or 2 enemy brigades from this position before we send our units in to charge. We can see that the Confederates have apparently already deployed in full strength. Well, maybe they're going to get a few reinforcements, but nothing that should be noteworthy, while we are still lacking 1 corps. I'm quickly going to detach some skirmishers to find out where the enemy is and to make sure that we cannot get easily flanked. But otherwise we simply have to wait until our soldiers are in position. Our general is getting shot, let's make sure we get him back. And yes, we have found enemy skirmishers. Let's also get Morgan's skirmishers out. And over here I'm going to get the boys of Canfield to attack those skirmishers. The rest of our infantry is still approaching, meaning that we should have a relatively easy time driving those skirmishers back. Down here we have the Stonewall Brigade. And enemy artillery is already opening up. Our own guns are unfortunately all the way back here. Let's hope they make it to the battlefield before we have to charge in. But I guess once we have dealt with the enemy skirmishers, the enemy should lose sight on us rather quickly. Cook, please open up a volley. And these skirmishers need to keep engaging the enemy. Price is now also able to open up. Good volley into the flank of those skirmishers, still not many casualties caused. I want to group up our artillery. We have a couple 10-pounders over here, but it looks like we are short one battery. Let's position our 10-pounders roughly over here. Our 6-pounders and our 12-pounders need to get closer over here. I want them close to the front line so that they can maximize their firepower. And yes, it appears that one of our 10-pounder batteries was not deployed on the battlefield. Field, I want you to turn around to deal with those skirmishers. Morgan skirmishers, you have to also move up. And the rest of our battle line seems to be more or less hidden for now. Canfield skirmishers, I want them over here. And once we have driven away these skirmishers, Field and the rest of our front line are going to be concealed again. Some supplies have almost reached the line. And I'm going to speed up again. Okay, our artillery is now getting shelled. We need to get our 12-pounders forward. And down here I want Morgan skirmishers to, if possible, get those supplies from the enemy. 6-pounder field guns have also made it to the field. Our artillery is unfortunately getting shelled. Let's make sure we order the bombardment to begin. These 6-pounders can focus on the Stonewall Brigade. These 10-pounders I also want on Ramseur. And to soak up some of the damage, we're going to send Price, Sweeney and Hope forward. And we are going to send Ferrero, Cook and Torbert forward as well. And now we are finally receiving reinforcements. I quickly pause the game to make sure that our soldiers move up. It looks like we were able to drive away those supplies, but we weren't able to defeat them. And we can see that over here the enemy is still willing to engage. Let's begin the attack with our infantry. We are most likely going to see that one or two of our brigades get repelled. But I want to soften up the enemy before we commit to a charge. These reinforcements are going to come in, but I think they're going to come in later than we would like them to have. Still, I believe the Confederates are going to receive some reinforcements, and therefore I am going to focus on a quick attack, trying to break through, and then follow up as a secondary and third wave with the rest of our forces. Can we get Kelly closer? Canfield needs to deal with Stewart. Over here I want Morgan and Field to attack. These three brigades can now also move up. Where is our general? He needs to get closer to the front line. These supplies need to get closer. Over here we are still hunting these skirmishers to make sure that they do not interfere with our flank. We can see that Kelly's morale is beginning to drop slightly, but they are still very good condition. Let's order a charge. Torbert just took over 100 casualties. Over here we are going to charge in with Ferrero, and the Confederates are receiving reinforcements. I just saw the red bar shift. Kelly is taking severe casualties. He is getting repelled. Let's now order the charge of Torbert. The question is, of course, if we are able to break through. Down here, Field is getting flanked. Let's wheel him around. Hope is able to open up. Morgan is also in melee. So far, we weren't able to drive back the enemy, but there it looks like Ramseur is leaving his position. Skates on the double. Price on the double. Sweeney, you need to shift around. Torbert, open up on those skirmishers. Cook can follow up. And we can actually see enemy artillery positions. Let's quickly get our 6-pounders forward, and let's order these 10-pounders to open up on their guns. We have driven away the Stonewall Brigade. and we now have a bit of a bigger opening. Morgan needs to focus fire on the Stonewall Brigade. Over here we are still hunting skirmishers. The bane of our existence. But we can send in more soldiers. Rebel cavalry has been spotted. Cook is withdrawing. Scales, can you move up on the flank of Stuart? Torbert is under heavy pressure. Let's get Sweeney forward. Let's get Price forward. General Trash Panda, move up. And Scales, I want you to charge into the flank of Stuart. Pleasanton on the double. Morgan is battling it out with battle. Ferrero already took 240 casualties. Price is moving up. Torbert is not going to be able to withstand this pressure forever. Pleasanton, charge in. Scales is already routed. Toon and Garnett, you are going to move forward on Stuart. These boys need to hold this side. 6-pounders are moving up. These 6-pounders need to open up on Stuart. And we now need to push up on enemy artillery. Gordon is on the field. He is a problem, but there is not much that we can do. Over here we have Katz and Barry, two strong brigades that we are going to push forward. These artillery pieces need to move forward. These farmers can move up, and it looks like Pleasanton was also repelled without being able to do much, but now Stuart is routed from our freshly arriving artillery. Braxton's guns are under heavy pressure. It appears that we are also on the flank of Gordon. We can't attack him because of the flanking battery of Kutcher. And over here, Field needs to make it on the flank of Daniel. With that, we are hopefully able to... Well, he can't. There are more enemies coming, but we are getting in reinforcements. Law is withdrawing. Over here, these skirmishers are almost driven away. Price is getting blocked, therefore he needs to shift on Gordon. At least we can exploit that flank. And the rebels are sending in more reinforcements, but we have at least achieved something. It looks like we have a more or less stable foothold now in the flank of the enemy. Let's get more reinforcements forward. Let's get all of our skirmishers reattached where it is possible. And let's make sure our artillery keeps coming in. Torbert already took 400 casualties. We have driven away one artillery battery. Over here we have driven away Gordon from the next defensive position. Ramseur wants to hold this flank. Let's get the boys forward. Barry, open up on Daniel. Or better. Well, it doesn't look... Yes, it looks like Daniel is fighting. Let's make sure that Barry charges in. It looks like these skirmishers were defeated. Let's get these skirmishers back. We need them on the field. Bidwell, open up on this exposed flank. Toon and Torbert, you need to get on Johnson. Price needs to get on the Stonewall Brigade. The same goes with Sweeney. Hoke, I want you on the flank of Ramseur. 10-pounders also open up on the Stonewall Brigade. These on Ramseur. And these guys need to make sure that the attack keeps pushing. These artillery pieces need to come in. And Toon needs to focus on Greg. Braxton and Kitching, move up behind them. General Grant, move up. Supplies, move up. And Greg should be repelled. The question is if Toons can withstand the pressure. I kind of doubt it. Torbert, fall back. Garfield, overtake him. Hoke needs to push up so that we can get on the enemy artillery. Cuts move forward. There's Rose coming in with over 1,000 soldiers. And it looks like Stuart wants to retake those positions. And these skirmishers are still on our flank. Let's get them forward. Our own skirmishers, I mean. Let's get Morgan over here. And let's get these 10-pounders over here. Hope, open up on Rose. 6-pounders have made it. Open up on Cutshaw. Over here we can see that Greg was repelled. It looks like Toon held. By the way, Toon, can you hold your ground and open fire on the rear of Witcher? Yes, you can. Griffin, charge in. Garnet, charge in. How's the situation over here looking? It appears to be more or less under control. Barry, move up. And move on the double quick. Maybe we are able to catch Stuart before he gets into position. It looks like we were able to, but Page was not able to reach. Cuts, you can shift on Stuart. You need to break him. Yes, Stuart was routed. Now Barry, continue your charge on Page. Let's get the general forward. We can see that Price fell back under severe casualties. Let's get Law forward. The Stonewall Brigade is still on the field. Sweeney, you are able to hit Kutcher. Let's get those artillery pieces. I assume that these are smoothbore. These boys attacked way stronger than I thought. I thought they would have stopped the pursuit of the enemy already. But they have made it to the next battle line. They're going to take tremendous casualties, but at least they allow us to get our boys closer. 12 pounders, get forward. Harry is now coming in. Brigadier General Jeffrey Mule is killed, the first officer casualty of the battle. And over here we still have soldiers that we can send forward. We just need to send everyone forward that we can. Griffin and Garnett are getting repelled. Law, open up on the flank of Perry. Barry is able to reshift. Let's get field forward on Page. Our reboards got repelled. Ramsey is still back on the field. Barry needs to run. And we can send Ferrero back so that he can recover, and we can send Morgan forward. Over here, Bragg needs to get forward so that we can replace Hope. Perry got repelled. Sweeney needs to get up. Canfield got far too close. Let's open him up on the Stonewall Brigade. Hunton is on the field. He is able to open up. Griffin is retreating. Garnett is also still retreating. First Corps took 15% casualties. And Barry is able to charge Page. He should hopefully be able to achieve a breakthrough. Daniel is not yet back in position. Stuart is coming up. Let's hope that we get those guns. Let's get them some support. Hope, you are allowed to fall back. Katz is routing. And as soon as we have repelled Johnson, we should be able to hopefully break through. Toon is in good morale. I'm ordering a charge. Law can move forward. Jimmy Morgan is wounded. Sweeney move up. Cook, move up. 6 pounders, open up on Johnson. Over here we have more artillery desperately waiting for orders. Morgan is getting flanked and is now wounded. Barry got repelled because enemy reinforcements made it in time. Reboards, you need to get forward. Haskell, you need to get forward. These 10 pounders, I want them on the flank. I want Whitting on that flank. It is a real shame that we weren't able to drive back the enemy from there, because the enemy is flanking us severely. Bragg is in good morale. Order a charge on Battle. This way we might be able to break through. Over here, Toon was repelled, but we have driven away Bragg. Hunted, move forward on those artillery pieces. Stahl is still battling it out with Hayes. Griffin, we're going to get you forward. Major General Edwin Sweeney is wounded. Garnett, move forward. Kitching is fresh, we can move him up. And it looks like we have the enemy guns in reach. That has caused us so much trouble already. Barry is withdrawing and Field is withdrawing. He only has 800 soldiers left. Good that Whitting is coming up. I'm also going to send Hoke over. Hoke already took 400 casualties. Ferrero, move forward on Gordon. Sweeney is falling back. Pleasanter back into the mix. Skates, move forward. And it looks like slowly but surely we are growing ever closer to victory. Over here we need to fight Stahl. Greg just recovered. But he is now wavering again. Maybe we are able to rout him within the next 1 or 2 bullets. Chu is falling back. These guns are falling back. These skirmishers are remarkably still on the field. Our rearboards are taking casualties, but they are dishing out a surprisingly strong amount. Let's get our farmers forward. Let's get Morgan back on the field. And we still have a small reserve of fresh forces that I am now ordering forward. And if you're wondering what my tactic for this battle is, the tactic is not existent. The tactic is just to throw countless amounts of soldiers onto the enemy until one side breaks. And currently it looks like it is the enemy. Over here, Hunton is able to open up into the rear of Hayes. This should break this unit within short amount of time. Kitching is about to reach the enemy guns. Ferrero, move forward. And Field can also pull up again. I hope to keep him out of the worst fighting, but we cannot promise that. The enemy is charging with battle. Let's order some of our artillery pieces to focus fire on that position. These artillery pieces need to move forward. And it looks like we broke the enemy over here. Bidwell, you can charge into Hayes. Garnett can move forward before the enemy can recover. These 10 pounders get closer. Hey, Davies, get closer. Grant, get closer. 15 minutes left. 21% casualties within our first corps. These skirmishers can reattach. I think the enemy skirmishers are either destroyed or not a threat anymore. And yes, we were able to drive away Hayes. Bidwell, set up. The Stonewall Brigade is opening fire on you. Over here, we can get closer onto the batteries of Chu. Perry is on the field. We are also hitting the battery under Hardaway, who both is withdrawing. But still, the enemy has good positions on this flank. Our farmers are bleeding out. Let's get them back. As much as I would like to refit all of our units with better weapons, I have grown attached to those brigades. And I hope that we can ignore the unit under Hoffman, wipe away the Stonewall Brigade, and then break through Bryn. Kitching, open fire on Perry. Canfield, get ready. Over here we are still able to rout Chu. Very good. And with the flanking fire of Kitching, Perry should be repelled soon. Can we get Field behind Perry? Morgan skirmishers are about to reattach. This is lovely to see. Stark is still dishing out fire. He is one of our freshest units. Now let's get him forward. Kelly, however, needs to fall back. Cook, get forward. Cat, get forward. Garnett is now taking heavy casualties, but we are holding. Let's focus fire on Witcher. Over here I'm going to send Kitching forward, hopefully able to drive away Braxton. Daniel is coming up. Maybe we can get a shot off before he breaks through. And over here the enemy is holding remarkably well. Let's get some 10 pounders and some 12 pounders closer. Bragg, I want you also closer to the field. Stark is most likely going to fall back soon, but he still has to buy us some time. And let's hope we can drive away Braxton before Kitching gets completely annihilated. Lyle, I want you closer. We still have Page on the field. Let's get him up. These 10 pounders, can they get on this flank? Stahl just got repaired. The Stonewall Brigade is still on the field, or back on the field. Garnett is wavering. Can we get Canfield forward? And Braxton, please annihilate right as he is approaching. We have 20 minutes left, but I guess we can continue the fight for quite some time. The question, of course, is if we then still have the strength for the next battle. Ramsey is getting dwindled down. Barry is fighting Johnson. Field move up. What do we still have? We have Tobbert, and we have just lost another Brigadier General. Over here, some of our boys are getting ready to get back into the fight. It looks like we were able to fight off the Stonewall Brigade. Let's shorten our front line. This unit is still a massive pain, and Witcher is just not willing to budge. And I don't really think that another charge is going to bring us a breakthrough. We just have to fight the enemy down. 10-pounders and 12-pounders. No, better, let's get these 6-pounders closer to the firing line. Order these 6-pounders to focus fire on Greg. And the same goes with all of our 10-pounders. Maybe we are able to drive away Greg, and then the rest is going to fall as well. Over here I want everyone who can to focus fire on Witcher. Kitching still needs to focus on the enemy in front. Over here we were able to drive away Johnson, but of course they are getting immediate reinforcements under Gordon. But maybe we are still able to hit some of their artillery pieces. And I want Hogue to come over here. Morgan also needs to move up. I want him in front of Whitting. And over here I'm going to shorten the front line a little bit so that Griffin can get into action quicker. Witcher is still holding up. We could end the battle now. Nope, not Braxton. Canfield has to withdraw. Page needs to continue the fight. Luckily, Greg is now withdrawing. Pleasanton took over 600 casualties. This is not a good day for the Union. Gordon is currently wavering. Let's order Barry to focus fire on his flank. Morgan on Stuart. Colonel Alex Hubbard is wounded. And we are very close to achieving our goal, but we still have a long way to go. I'm going to send Cook forward. The 6-pounders are going to focus fire on Daniel. Kite, if possible, you're going to focus fire on Cutshaw. And over here it looks like some parts of the enemy are finally crumbling. Field is shifting to drive off Rossa. Ramsey is trying to get back into defensive positions, but it looks like we finally have sufficient forces on this flank. Katz is routing. Scales is going to go forward. And these boys also need to get ready. First Corps took 25% casualties. Second Corps 20%. Witcher is still holding. Page, I'm going to order you to charge. Canfield, get forward. Kelly, get forward. Garnett, get forward. And Braxton, you are also going to charge. You're going to charge Bryn. I don't know if this is going to work, but at least it is going to stop the enemy fire. Daniel is trying to charge us. Major General Travis Cook is wounded. Johnson is getting... Well, Johnson was wavering. Hogue, get over here. We have Page's artillery over there in front of the line. Page is wavering. He is going to be driven away. Braxton is also getting killed. Law, shift quickly on Daniel. Garfield, push forward. We were able to drive back Witcher for a short while, for a few meters. A few precious meters that we now have to exploit. Hogue, I want you on the double and to attack Page. Braxton is now falling back. Witcher is about to reach his position again, but we are able to drive Braxton's artillery back. Hayes is now also falling back, and under extreme casualties we are inching closer to victory. Let's get our artillery closer. 6-pounders on battle. Skates on battle. And it looks like we can now focus our attention on Perry and Johnson. Hope is distracting Page and hopefully also able to kill him off, or to at least drive him away. Over here we are dealing with enemy artillery emplacements. And we can still hear melee fighting, even though I don't think anyone is in melee. It does not really matter. Page, get closer. Let's get our general closer to the line. We are able to drive away. Battle, very good. Garfield, also focus on hard weight. These, I assume, are 12 pounders and they are hurting a lot. Let's get Morgan closer if we are able to. He wants to attack Gordon. And I just want him to get into this field. Let's get Field closer. Do we have ammunition somewhere around here? We still have Harden that we can send over. And finally Witcher is withdrawing. We have driven away those artillery pieces. Let's get Hunton up into the rear of the enemy. Hager's artillery is a target that we have to hit. And over here we are going to send Drag forward so that we can get on the flank of Drag. And after that the way is hopefully open to get onto the objective. Morgan is about to open up on Gordon. Gordon is once again wavering. Hogue is still battling Page. Page luckily does not seem to be 12-pounder Napoleons, are therefore unable to inflict those heavy casualties that we have seen previously. And now it is time to get through this opening. The Stonewall Brigade is getting targeted by multiple brigades and artillery. And finally it appears that we are also able to drive away Grim. These ranks unfortunately is still way too even for my likings. We have done a number on the enemy guns, but we have lost an absolute mountain of soldiers. Let's just hope we can kill off a lot of them later in this fight. There's Johnson coming up. And there's enemy cavalry coming up. Katz needs to get closer. We need to get these boys closer. 6-pounders also get closer. What can we do over here? We still have a couple brigades that are more or less rested by now again. And we need to get our boys closer to the line. I'm afraid that some soldiers are going to get rear flanked by Hoffman. But as long as these 1900 soldiers do not leave their defenses, we should have a more or less easy time. We are driving away the Stonewall Brigade and Johnson. Very good. Stewart is still on the field. Let's get these 6-pounders up. Over here, this artillery was either destroyed or driven away. Currently, we are battling Doles just to divide the enemy attention. Wright is coming up again. Let's get Cook on him. For a quick salvo, he should have almost reloaded. Come on. And some of our artillery is running out of ammunition. But we have captured an enemy supply point, giving us at least something to work with. Braxton is charging Morgan. I don't know if Morgan is able to hold. Let's make sure our soldiers focus on that threat. 10-pounders get closer. These 10-pounders are also opening up. Morgan is falling back, but we should have this enemy in a crossfire. And as soon as these enemies have been repelled, we are able to attack the fence line. Witcher is back on the field. Let's get Griffin forward to further exploit that gap. Garfield, are you able to hit Perry before he reaches our line? Katz is withdrawing. Let's get Stark closer. Let's get Scales closer. And the problem is that Anderson is able to open up on this flank, and he's doing that with great effect. Haskell is also still a massive thorn in my sides. But at least we are making some progress on the enemy left. I'm going to send Braxton and Griffin forward. just to make sure that the enemy cannot use this defensive ground in the woods. Barry, can you get those enemies? Hogue and Field, I want you to withdraw. Haskell is down to 980 soldiers and he is going to fall back. Johnson is charging in again. We are able to bleed out the enemy, but the question is, of course, how many men of ours are then going to remain? We still have 2,000 soldiers under Humphrey over here. And I wonder if it would be wise to charge in with Griffin, but I guess we can dwindle down Witcher over on this way. Braxton, can you focus on Hugger? Griffin is going to deal with Witcher. We are going to get Starhell behind. We're going to get Canfield forward. We see that Perry is charging, but we have multiple brigades that should be able to deal with them as soon as Wright has withdrawn. Yeah, Perry is already wavering. Johnson is getting dwindled down. Over here we are unfortunately not really able to do much. Pleasanton, can you open up on the flank of Hannigan? These 10-pounders, I need them closer. These 6-pounders, I need them closer. These 6-pounders also move up. Perry is now withdrawing. There is Hugger. Let's get Braxton forward. There's Hardway. We should also be able to get him, even though Humphrey is still holding his ground. Braxton, after we have repaired those artillery pieces, need to focus fire on Wolford's flank. Let's get more soldiers up. Major General Derry Whitting is wounded. Once again, heavy casualties under or in our officer corps. We need to get the boys up. Pleasanton is about to be repelled. Yeah, there he is running. Over here, Hannigan is routed. Gregg should be able to be flanked. Braxton charged in to get those artillery pieces. Not necessarily ideal, but it appears that we are at least able to inflict some casualties on Humphrey. Griffin is going to be repelled down. Stahl, I want you to move further down. Canfield, move up. And Hunton, move up over here. Gordon is falling back. Very good. Cook is going to open up on Rose. And we can make some moves over here. Let's get these artillery pieces closer. Let's get tuned up. And this battle feels more and more like a tactical defeat, even if we are winning, even if we are able to win this battle. Let's just hope that the casualties for the Confederates are a lot higher. Our 10-pounders, I want them to open up on Haskell. If we are able to silence these guns, we should have a much easier time on this side. Canfield, can you get on the flank of Woford? Starhell, you are going to attack Perry. Griffin is still falling back. Now he is able to open up again. Let's get him up so that we can blast away Perry. Now, get ready. You have reloaded. Come on. Their morale is still pretty bad. They are not really able to support. How's the situation over here looking? We have repelled... No, these artillery pieces are still on field. Let's get Stark forward as soon as Braxton has withdrawn. Rose is falling back. Now we are able to do numbers on their artillery. 6-pounders are still opening up. Let's get Field over here. Let's get Morgan back in the fray. Let's get Bragg forward. And these 10-pounders need to open up on Woford, and we have an opening. We finally have an opening. Our soldiers have bled so hard for it. Now let's make sure we exploit it. We need to get as many brigades as possible forward to finally collapse the enemy defensive line. Over here Perry is withdrawing again. We can get Griffin forward. Humphreys is now also wavering. Ramsey is still fighting, but he is going to fall back soon. And at the moment, only Anderson is still standing in our way over here. The big question is, of course, if it was worth it. I currently do not think it was. Let's quickly capture the point. And let's then make sure we kill as many of the enemy as we can. I want Bidwell and Toon to guard our rear against Hoffman, while the rest of our forces are pushing forward. These artillery pieces and supplies need to move up. And we are now securing Mule. Over here we need to deal with Hager's artillery. The rest of our infantry is going to deal with Stuart. Down here we need to hold our ground. Starhell, you're going to form up behind our lines. Gordon is getting shot to bits. Very good. Just what we want to see. Let's get these 6-pounders forward. Price is bleeding severely. 10-pounders move up. And we still have those on our flank. I hope Griffin is able to stop the enemy onslaught, at least until we are able to focus more forces on this flank. Kite, I also want you to move up on Hagar. Stark should be strong enough to deal with Gordon, especially since Garnett is now moving up. Supplies are still available over here. Price is about to fall back, can't blame him. And we have to defend this ground for 8 more minutes. Let's get these boys forward. We might need him. Kitching, get forward. And I sincerely hope that we still are going to have enough soldiers to fight the next major battle. We can request roughly 8,000 soldiers, if I remember correctly, from the government. And I'm sure we are going to need them. 6-pounders and 12-pounders have made it. Open up on the Stonewall Brigade. Griffin has lost almost 800 of his soldiers. Let's order him back to maybe open up a firing position for Stahl. We can see that Beaufort is withdrawing. Humphreys is down to 1,500 soldiers. And the battle is over before we could clean up this massive blob. At the beginning of the day, we had 56,780 soldiers and 280 artillery pieces. After this fight, unfortunately, 21,600 of our soldiers became casualties, and we have lost one of our artillery pieces. On the Confederate side, they had 41,600 infanterists and 876 cavalrymen, together with 198 guns. After the fight, over 21,500 of their infanterists became casualties. They have lost over 121 artillery pieces and 647 cavalrymen, meaning that the casualties were unfortunately relatively even. But I do hope that we are able to recover some of our losses thanks to our high medical skill. And we are still going to receive 15,000 reinforcements. We are still able to request soldiers from the government, meaning that we should still be able to field a sizable army for the next major battle. We were able to achieve our goal. And the best unit on the battlefield, unsurprisingly, was the Confederate Stonewall Brigade, killing 1,300 of our soldiers. On our side, Haskell was the best unit with over 1,100 kills, followed by Kite with 983 and a battery of 10-pounder ordnances, killing 875 rebels. The casualty list is also led by the Stonewall Brigade, who lost over 1,500 of their soldiers. On our side, Barry has suffered the worst with over 1,300 casualties, followed by Pleasanton and Price with over 1,000 men lost each. And within our officer corps, we have once again multiple killed and wounded officers, but we can celebrate the promotion of Ulysses S. Grant to Lieutenant General. We were able to get our hands on 29 12-pounder Napoleons. We captured over 175 sword-offs, over 2,400 Harper's Ferry M1855s, and 594 Pattern 1853 Enfield. We were also able to rescue 217 of our rebound farmers and 89 of our farmers from the battlefield. And after that, we captured 219 MJ&G Type 2, 1100 M1841 Mississippi, 189 hunting rifles, and 122 Lorentz. After this fight, we have also been awarded with another career point as well as 5 reputation. We got over $156,300 and 15,000 fresh recruits. And thanks to the 8,000 soldiers that we can still request from the government, we are able to replenish our losses from this fight. But once again, our first corps has lost a lot of its officers. And we can see that many of our soldiers are going to need a large amount of reinforcements. And we have to reinforce many of our ranks with veterans. Our second corps is also not looking much better, but only Pleasanton's brigade has lost their commander. In the next episode, we are going to fight in the major battle of Cold Harbor, but this has to be it for now. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I thank you all for watching. And until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.